Hello, Blunt Truth with the RAT Cutlery IZULA. And even though you may already know that I like RAT Cutlery a lot as a company, I handle each knife separately and fairly and treat them as tools and grade them as tools and how well they perform their intended chore. This is intended as two things by RAT Cutlery. They market it as a neck knife for concealed carry around your neck, obviously. And they also market it as a survival knife to include in your survival kit with some basic survival essentials to get you through the toughest of times. So I'm going to handle each aspect separately because they're totally different and exclusive of each other. First, as a neck knife, it's skeletonized. So naturally, without the paracord, it's skeletonized. So naturally, just that fact makes it a prime candidate as a neck knife. They screw up, however. Jeff screws up on the sheath because the dual purpose of a survival knife, they wanted to make the sheath molly gear compatible so that you can clip it on your load bearing equipment. Now they put this big plastic brackets in here on the sides, making the sheath not, it's like an afterthought. They threw in the hole. Oh yeah, it's a neck knife. Let's put that hole in there. Now they can wear it on their neck. No, you can't wear this on your neck. These things bulge out through your shirt. Everybody knows you got a knife on. Doesn't work. I tried. What would be better is this. This works. This works great. And obviously, it is one of their sheaths. I just cut off all the extra plastic. And this is great. Now it's a neck knife. Now it can conceal, and it still locks solid. And now it'll hang between your pecs or man tits or boobs or whatever you got going, and no one will know you got a knife. It works now. They should have made the sheath like that to begin with. I don't know. I don't think anybody's clipping this thing on their belt or anything because small knife, go all out with the neck knife thing. Give us a Kydex sheath like this. Kydex would be better than plastic. If you do this with your sheath, you can go right down to the outline of the knife safely, all the way to the outline. Make sure you keep some thickness in the back because you want it to be stiff right there so it doesn't bend, deform. And keep a little thickness right here so that the lock tabs grab the blade still. Otherwise, whittle away. You can use the knife itself to whittle off the plastic. It's really easy actually. And this works good. I like it. Now I carry it. I use this. I carried it 2 days at work just to try out the carry method. I didn't even use the knife at work. But it worked well. No one knew I had a knife on my neck, or at least they didn't mention it. So that's an improvement. They need to make Kydex sheath, at least aftermarket. Alright, now onto it as a survival tool. They market it with an optional survival kit with some basic survival essentials and, you know, your fire starter and blah blah blah. Most of us make our own survival kits. But this is your shelter in the kit. Your knife is supposed to provide an emergency situation. It's supposed to get you through your shelter building, which means your knife has to cut a lot of wood. You know, assuming that you're stranded in where there is wood, you're going to use wood to make your shelter. You're going to have to carve and cut and chop a lot of wood with this thing, carving away, delimbing, and it has to get the job done without going dull on you. You have to get your shelter made without stopping to sharpen your knife. It could be an emergency. You have to rely on this thing to get the job done without stopping. So I didn't have experience with anything like that with it. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't sit here and tell you, oh yeah, it'll do that, because I hadn't done that. So I went out the last 2 days and did that. I built a debris shelter, and it worked well. I brought it home to sharpen it. This is the sort of show knife here for the review. This is the one I took into the woods. I brought it home to sharpen it. Figured, okay, now it needs an edge. Nope, didn't need an edge at all. After building the debris shelter, it was still perfectly sharp. So okay, I said, I'm going to try it out on some of that wood, those big wooden blocks I use. You know, practice run, see how it does on the wooden blocks. Well, picture's worth 1,000 words. I had to cut there because I just smashed my camera with the wood, but the camera lived through it, so let's continue. After all this cutting, out in the woods building the debris shelter, cutting all the way through this thing, I figured, okay, now it needs an edge. Nope, wrong again. I haven't touched this yet. I haven't stropped it. I haven't done anything to this edge. And after all that, it shaves perfectly still. It's still a perfect shaving edge after all that. That's amazing. It's 1095. It really shouldn't be. Logic would say it can't do that, but it's doing it. Awesome heat treating or something, because it's still razor sharp after all that. Now, I couldn't understand at first what made it cut the wood so well. How did it rip through the wood better than any other knife I tested? And I realized it's all about the simplest thing, this little angle here. How the handle comes this way and then the blade angles forward, so it tilts forward. What that does is put the belly of the knife right at the perfect position for all your power to be transferred right into the material, right into the belly of the edge. It's just perfect place from your hand. I was talking before about leverage, and if you're cutting something, you want the thing you're cutting to be closest to your hand so that leverage works for you and not against you. Well, this does that. Puts it right there. It just works great. You don't have any fear of going up on the blade with this shape. That works good. So it's a good work knife. It really is. It does. And they built this thing with the brick shithouse mentality. You can see it's a lot thicker than its bigger brother, the RC3. It's actually just as thick as a RAT 7, 4 millimeters. So tough little tooth of a knife, and it cuts like a banshee. So I'm going to show you. You watch part 2, and I'm going to go through one of these on camera in one shot, and then shave with it, all in one shot. I'm going to try to do it in under 10 minutes. Wish me luck. But it's a hell of a knife. It really is. Good neck knife too. Good neck knife and a reliable survival knife. It holds up. Watch part 2 and I'll show you it cut. Thanks.